and we're back with Commissioner Jim Cawley from Bucks County, running for Lieutenant Governor this year. Commissioner Cawley, this is a big year, 2010 in the Commonwealth. I want to know just a little bit about what led you to the decision to run for Lieutenant Governor. That's obviously a big decision. I'm sure you share with your wife and your family. What led you to the decision of running for Lieutenant Governor?
I'm a lifelong Pennsylvanian, and I've always been very proud of Pennsylvania, but lately I haven't been too proud of what I've been seeing coming out of Harrisburg. I think our state government right now is broken. The current administration has yet to pass a budget on time. They're 0 for 7 at this point. It looks like they're going to go 0 for 8 in not passing a budget on time. So I've been coming to the conclusion for some time that there needs to be a course correction in Harrisburg, but probably the thing that pushed me over more than anything else was the 101 days we went last year without a state budget. Now, as somebody who's responsible for the provision of human services, be it drug and alcohol counseling, mental health, mental retardation, domestic violence protection, all those things fall to to county government. And we rely heavily on the state to be a full partner in that. And when you go over 3 months without that money, while we in Bucks County we're financially prepared to sustain our levels of service, there's some of my brother and sister commissioners out there in other counties that literally had to resort to things like closing the county courthouse one day a week. It was just outrageous that some of the most the people who rely on services were the ones who were really being hurt by the political gamesmanship that was going on in Harrisburg. So pretty much made my determination then that I was going to try to play a very active role in what the next administration was going to look like.
Great. And I know it's not an easy thing to run for statewide. I don't know that personally, but I'm just guessing it's not a very easy thing to run for statewide office. And I'm sure there's been ups and downs. I know an up was definitely when you received the Republican endorsement from our state party earlier in the winter. But if you could just share with all of us maybe some highlights from the road, interesting things that you've seen along the way. I think that's something that a lot of us would probably wonder, what's a day in the life like when you're running for statewide office?
Well, it can be rather unique. I think back to just last week, I started the day in Wilkes-Barre, did a couple of newspaper interviews, then got in the car and traveled for 5 hours to go to Bedford County to speak at their Republican dinner there. And then still not done yet, headed to Somerset County as well. So the road can be grueling. It can be very demanding, but it's also very rewarding when you get the opportunity to talk to people and articulate what it is that you believe in. And for me, one of the core principles of this whole effort has been that Pennsylvania's best days lie ahead of it. And there are so many opportunities that we have. We're so perfectly positioned, whether it be infrastructure. We have great roads, great rail, great ports. Whether it be resources, things like Marcellus Shale. Marcellus Shale could very easily, if it's harvested correctly, could very easily be the next steel, the next coal for Pennsylvania. Could really put Pennsylvania back on the map again. And equally as important, and sometimes we don't even realize it, we have great people. We have in this state some of the best institutions of higher education anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. And we have so many opportunities here. We just need to capitalize on those opportunities, and I think it starts with a government and a governor who realize those opportunities and realize that sometimes one of the best ways to realize the opportunity it's just simply to let people be creative, to stay out of the way, to just energize them. And that's why I think, and that's why I'm so excited that the Republican State Committee endorsed Tom Corbin for governor.
What do you think makes the general, Attorney General Corbin, what do you think makes him special as a leader?
He is a great, if not perhaps even the greatest attorney general that this state has ever had. And he's going to be an even better governor because Tom Corbett's the real deal. You know, for 7.5 years now, we've had a lot of sizzle. We've had a lot of promises. We've had a lot of talk. But when it comes right down to it, the rubber meets the road, not a lot to show for all the talk. With Tom Corbett, we're going to do away with the sizzle and we're going to get to the steak. We're going to get to what really matters. For a long time now, we've been told that things are going to get better, things are this, things are that. In some respects, even we've been lied to. We've been told that state government is going to spend our way to prosperity. We know that's not true. Tom is about a couple of just key core principles that I think Pennsylvanians need to hear. First, he's about restoring trust in government. Nobody can speak with greater authority on that than him as he fights corruption every day. Second, he's going to be about making sure the government lives within its means. That this reckless spending in this time of government being all things to all people all the time has come to an end. And third, and equally as important, he's going to be about setting the table for job creation. It's not government that's going to create jobs. Government creates bureaucracy. It's small business people, entrepreneurs, creative individuals. These are the folks that ultimately are the job creators. And Tom's going to foster an environment as governor that's going to allow them to do that, to be job creators, and I'm going to help them do it.
That's great. Well, 2010 is a big year for General Corbett, for you, Commissioner Cawley, running as the two endorsed candidates for governor and lieutenant governor. 2010, though, is also a big year for you and your wife, and we talked a little bit about this offline, and I asked you if it was okay to share a little bit about it. I was running a meeting. We both have held the title of being state chairman of the Young Republicans. I was running a meeting, and we had you come in and speak a couple months ago after you had received the endorsement, and in came a young man named Nicholas, who is your foster child currently, and hopefully going to become your adoptive son here pretty soon. So just want to see how everything's going with that process. I actually used to work at Three Rivers Adoption Council, so I know it's not an easy process, but just a great, charismatic young politician. I think he had a little suit on. So how's everything going for you guys, for you and your wife?
I call him the mayor of Laurel Oaks. That's the name of our development, because when we go out on our walks, he says hello to everyone. But Nicholas is he is our joy, and we are moving through the process of adopting him now, and I very much look forward to watching him grow and grow old and having children.
Pennsylvania, right?
Oh, of course, in Pennsylvania. And that actually, you point out something else too. Pennsylvania, one of our key challenges is making sure that young people like Nicholas want to stay here. As Tom Corbett says, he's not running for governor necessarily for himself or for the voters of today. He's running for his children and their children, and I get what he means.
Absolutely. Well, I had one email question for you. Dan Soltesz, who is one of our Republican leaders here in the region, he asked specifically your time as chairman of the Young Republicans, since it is something that you and I share. What did you gain from that? What are some of the insights when you think back to the late 80s?
It was actually the
early 90s.
The middle 1990s,
okay.
And it was a great time. It was a time when it was June of 1994, and of course, Tom Ridge and Mark Schweikert.
Right, that is a fun time to
that. Yeah. They were running for governor and lieutenant governor, and ultimately were successful. And a seemingly almost unknown young congressman from Pittsburgh named Rick Santorum ran for the United States Senate that year. Our activism that year as Young Republicans, we were engaged all over the state. Certainly, I spent a couple of days out here knocking on doors for that young congressman that I didn't really know. But it was the same excitement that kind of permeates politics today. It's very reminiscent of 1994. And what I learned as far as just being a grassroots activist, some leadership, has stuck with me for my entire life. The young Republicans, I owe a lot to. I owe a lot to the college Republicans as well. Great organizations.
Great. Well, Commissioner Cawley, I want to thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoy your stay in Pittsburgh. Best of luck in 2010. I know you've got a big election coming up next month, and then hopefully in November as well. And also best of luck to you and your wife and Nicholas. It sounds like you guys are going to have a great 2010. So thanks for coming out to Pittsburgh. I wanted to give you a copy of our audiobook.
Well,
I know that you've made the most of your 20s and 30s, but I hope that you keep it up and good luck. And thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Alrighty.
All right. And that was Commissioner Jim Cawley. Thanks for your time, Commissioner.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time on Get Involved Pittsburgh.